Hey everyone, this is Cameron Macon from Maconchangedmen mentoring program, and I want to thank everybody so much for helping me kick off my vlog. I appreciate all the likes, all the subscriptions, all the comments. I just really appreciate you guys help supporting. Go ahead and kick off this next video. The topic is communication. Communication is so important when it comes to relationships, any type of relationships. Wife, husband, parent, child, teacher, student, any type of relationship, being able to communicate effectively is so important. So today we're going to focus on student and teachers. So that communication right there. Being in education, I feel like there's a barrier as far as communication goes. There's some animosity. I've talked to a lot of different students about this topic, and it's usually the first topic that they bring up about how teachers and students communicate to each other. All right, so the topic of communication. It can have many different definitions. We're going to simply give a foundational definition.
Communication.
Communication means a way to connect ideas and thoughts with others. Again, a way to connect individual ideas and thoughts with others. All right, so we have our foundational definition to run with. So let's talk about a few things. All right, before we get started, the whole purpose of this video is to open the mind and cultivate a balanced perspective in students and in teachers, and to hopefully bridge the gap, that communication barrier that's between students and teachers. All right, first let's talk about our young people. Let's have a moment of silence for our young people.
God bless them all.
All right, so growing up in today's world is different from the worlds in generations past. So I say that teens today are living a smoothie lifestyle. A smoothie lifestyle. Here's what I mean. So let's say you're making a smoothie. You take one blender, one container, and you add in ice, maybe some ice cream, maybe some sherbet, maybe protein, then an abundance of different types of fruit. So you got strawberries, blueberries, bananas, pineapples, things like that. You put the top on, hit the button, zzz, and you mix it up. So let's convert that now to a teenager. You have this one individual that's dealing with the same type of things that we dealt with and generations past dealt with, as far as growing up, puberty, trying to understand and find out who you are as an individual. And then nowadays, growing up, we have the internet, where we have social media, TV is throwing all different types of sex things. Radio is talking about sex. Everything is talking about sex super early, which in turn produces younger parents raising children before those younger parents have matured in a way that they should, so that way they can raise children properly. So you, in essence, have young people raising children and other young people. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into focusing on teachers and students and the problems with communications and how they probably should communicate. I'll give you some tips, different things like that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So I think one of the differences between students and teachers when they come together to communicate is their mindset. All right, I think they have totally different mindsets. Let's start with the student. The student's mindset is focused on, I wake up, all right, boom, let me get up, let me pick out my clothes. Let me get my clothes together so I can go to school, look cool, feel good, and be fresh. So they want to wear what they want to wear. They go to school. They're focused on what they're going to wear first. Secondly, they're going to focus on whatever types of things they've been talking about the night before in social media, and they wonder what their friends are doing. They want to hook up with their friends, see their friends, talk, and hang out. All right? In the background, that's where learning comes as far as their priority. So students are focused on many other things other than priority. And when I say students, I'm saying some students, many students, not all students, okay? So that's their mindset. Clothes, social media, friends, hanging out, all right? Learning later. So teachers come with a total different mindset. They're focused on lesson plans. I plan this activity to go with my students. I got to get them engaged. I got to teach them all these different standards, and I have administration evaluating me on these standards that could affect my pay. So I'm focused on getting these students to learn these things so they can produce what they need to produce on test. Let's be real about the situation. All right, so those are two total different mindsets when you come together. All right? The problem with that is teachers don't consider the student mindset and students don't consider the teacher's mindset. All right, so let's start with just an idea. Humankind, all humans want to be respected. Teachers want to be respected. Students want to be respected. Why? Because that's just human nature. We want to be respected. We do not like being disrespected. I mean, but that sounds pretty reasonable, right? All right. To all of my young people, let's start off with some tips. I like to call it, use the acronym BET. B-E-T, BET. All right, so when you're communicating with an adult, you should check your body language. First, check your body language. You might not say anything at all, but your body language might be saying all kind of different things. So have a relaxed posture when you're talking to teachers, not too uptight, not with an attitude, have a relaxed posture, okay? Relax, just talk to another human being, all right? Secondly,
Look at me now, boy.
eye contact, the E is for eye contact. Most adults like you to look at them when they're talking to you. That's just a form of respect. Now, I know different cultures have different rules and different things that are considered respectable and disrespectful in their culture, but if you go to school in America, eye contact is okay to give to a teacher, all right? It shows that you're paying attention to them, that you understand what they're saying, that they have your attention. All right, and the T stands for tone. Watch your tone. It's not necessarily what you say, but how you say it. So if you say it with an attitude, it's going to be taken like you have an attitude. If you say it real low like this, it's going to give a certain type of feeling. So speak up and just say it with a tone that doesn't sound crazy. All right, tips from my teachers. I like to call it the triple T. Triple T. So if you focus on these things, it should help you out when it comes time to converse with students. So, number one, try not to yell at the student. No human likes to be yelled at, okay? It puts you on the defense, it makes you uptight, it makes you want to respond in the same kind of way that someone is communicating with you. So, one, try not to yell. Two, try not to embarrass the student. The student has all its friends around them, all of their friends, people that they don't know. It could be an embarrassing situation if they get into trouble or you try them, as they say. So try not to embarrass them. For the third T, try to remember what it was like when you were a teenager. If you keep that in mind, I feel like it would be a whole lot easier for you to deal with them and kind of get yourself in their mindset as far as what they actually deal with, so you know kind of how to communicate with them. All right, so that was some tips. Now let's talk about conflict, okay? Let's say you've already overstepped those boundaries of respect and things like that, okay? Or let's say that you have an issue where now it's like, okay, you might end up disrespecting the student or you might end up disrespecting the actual teacher. So let's talk about how to handle those things. All right, let's talk to my students first. So students, let's think about some things first. One, you have to pass this class, or you should pass this class. Number two, you want to learn to pick your battles. Certain things you don't have to address all the time. Let some stuff go. All right, on the teacher side, teachers, remember, this is a long semester. You have to teach the student for the whole entire semester. Don't set yourself up to have a difficult semester where you have classroom management issues and you got to deal with the same kid that's getting on your nerves or that you've kind of started a bad relationship with and deal with that throughout the whole semester. All right, so let's discuss how to handle conflict between teachers and students. All right, so this is for my students. So again, remember, pick your battles. You don't have to fight every single battle. Pick your battles as far as what things that you want to kind of contest or whatever and deal with, okay? So understand one thing. If you go outside of your classroom and look on the front door, whose name does it say? It's not your name, is it? It's not any other friend's names, huh? Nah, it's the teacher's name. So that means it's the teacher's room. So understand that they're already at a place of authority over you in that domain. That's their area. That's their home court, okay? So the teacher is placed in a place of authority pretty much over you. So in that room, it's going to be very difficult for you to argue and win a battle in that arena. Okay, that's not what you want to do. So you want to access your power. Yes, I said power. Students, you have power, but you got to know and think about how to use it and what your power actually is. All right? All right, so your power. Your power lies within your ability to control yourself for a small moment of time and then get your parents involved. So let's say you feel like you were disrespected by a teacher or they handled something in a way that you wouldn't have handled or you felt disrespected by, that's fine. In that moment, listen to the teacher, give them eye contact, listen to what they're saying, follow their instructions because right now you're in their domain. So follow their instructions, do what needs to be done, and then move on and get past that day. You don't have to be all buddy buddy in their face, but again, be cordial. If they speak to you, answer questions. If not, then move on through your day. Once you get home and you feel like you were, you've been disrespected in some kind of way or the teacher did something wrong, talk to your parent, explain the whole situation, not just your part, but the whole situation. That way your parent knows what's going on, and your parent comes to the school, calls to the school, emails to the school, and go to bat for you and find out what's going on with the situation. And now you have a parent and a teacher on the same level discussing what goes on. You didn't disrespect anybody, you weren't insubordinate, you didn't cross any lines, you went to your parents, explained the situation, the whole entire situation, and then let your parents handle what's going on. That's your best bet. All right, for teachers, you want to remember the triple T. Try not to yell, try not to embarrass the student, and try to remember what it was like when you were in high school, when you were a teenager. Another thing that will really help out in your classroom is that teachers, if you set expectations early on, you set the expectations of your classroom of what you're gonna accept, what's acceptable, what's okay, what's not okay, and you stay consistent. I'm gonna repeat that. I'm gonna come a little closer. Stay as consistent as possible with your rules, with your expectations, and that will help out students a lot. They know that every single time that they cross this line, they're getting checked on it. Every single time, okay, Mr. Macon is not gonna give or budge on this rule because he's keeping his word. He's saying what he said. All right, I can respect that. So it helps out with classroom management. Another thing that will really help out in your classroom is that teachers, if you set expectations early on, you set the expectations of your classroom of what you're gonna accept, what's acceptable, what's okay, what's not okay, and you stay consistent. I'm gonna repeat that. I'm gonna come a little closer. Stay as consistent as possible with your rules, with your expectations, and that will help out students a lot. They know that every single time that they cross this line, they're getting checked on it. Every single time, okay, Mr. Macon is not gonna give or budge on this rule because he's keeping his word. He's saying what he said. All right, I can respect that. So it helps out with classroom management. Here's another tip that I use personally. I never ever discuss anything in front of my whole entire class. I will not have a conversation or quote unquote argument, a discussion in front of my class. I give my students a direct instruction and I usually have them step outside. So if something's going on, I might give them a verbal warning, and then later on, if they keep on with the same issue, I'll tell them to step out. Here's the benefit of having them step out. One, I get to continue teaching my class. Learning goes on. There's no big distraction stopping the learning. Two, once I get my students to an area where they can be self-sufficient and work independently or work collaboratively, then I can step outside, have a quick one-on-one conference with that student. The student is a lot less rebellious, a lot less attitude, a lot less confrontational outside when it's one-on-one, because now they don't have that fear of being embarrassed in front of everybody else. So you guys get to talk. I go out there, I explain how this conversation is going to go. I'm going to explain what my issues are with you. They're going to listen. After I'm done, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to listen. And then we get any misconceptions, any errors fixed, and then we go back inside and we do it right. And you can add anything you want at the end of that, but that usually works really, really well for me. All right, so these facts, strategies that I've shared in this video, they're from my own personal experience, things that I've used. And this is from me speaking from both sides of the fence. When I was a student growing up, I wasn't really the ideal student at all. I spent a lot of time in ISS, OSS, suspended off the bus, detention, silent lunch, things like that. But I did learn eventually. And then this is me speaking as a teacher, where I have been on the other side and dealt with students that maybe might not have been the best student, have the best habits and things like that. All right, so let's recap. For students, tips on communicating with teachers is the BET strategy, B-E-T. B, body language. Check your body language. E, eye contact. Give them eye contact, show them you're listening, they have your attention. T, T, your tone. Check your tone. Remember, think about how you're saying what you're saying. And for teachers, remember the triple T, the triple T. Try not to yell, try not to embarrass the student, and try to remember what it was like when you were in school. All right. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it helped you. I hope you got what you need. Teachers, I hope you got some clues to help you out with your students. Students, I hope you got some tips to help you deal with some of your teachers. So this is Cameron Macon signing off for Maconchangedmen mentoring program. And I'm going to leave you with this quote. It's a personal quote that I live by. It says that your success is a sum of your daily efforts. So if you want to be successful, put in work daily and try and get everything that you need to get done. Plan it out. Also remember, he who fails to plan, plans to fail. Signing off. You guys have a great day.